Today, we're diving into a single act of devotion from the Gospels, but it's one so powerful that you can still feel its echoes today. Get ready, because this is a story of radical worship, public scandal, and a love that just refused to count the cost. An act of worship, or a preparation for death. I mean, wow. Those are the startling words of Jesus himself, and they set the stage for this profound mystery we're about to unpack. What on earth did this woman do that was so significant? Well, to really get what she did, we have to understand her heart first. Our story centers on Mary. And listen, she wasn't some distant, unrelatable figure. She was an ordinary woman, just like us, wrestling with this extraordinary feeling deep inside. I think we all know that feeling, don't we? That sense that there's gotta be more. That search for a deeper purpose. The source material we're looking at says Mary was trying to fill what felt like an eternal hole in her heart with worldly things, but, well, it just wasn't working. But then, an invitation to a dinner party changes everything. And this isn't just any dinner. The word on the street is there's a special guest, a man who heals the sick, who casts out demons, who even raises the dead. Could this be him, the one she's been searching for? And in this incredible moment of hope, she grabs her most valuable possession, a bottle of very expensive perfume. So Mary walks into this room, and it's buzzing with conversation. But as she gets closer to Jesus, it's like all that noise just fades into the background. She hears his voice, feels this incredible peace, and is just hit by this overwhelming feeling of profound love. And without a second thought, she just acts. She throws herself at his feet. Overcome with awe, she starts to weep. Then she breaks open her costly perfume and pours out every last drop. And in a final, absolutely stunning act of humility, she lets down her hair and begins to wipe his feet with it. Now, we have to understand this was a huge deal. This wasn't just an emotional moment. It was radical, and frankly, it was dangerous. In her culture, for a woman to unbind her hair in public was scandalous. And then to touch a man who wasn't her husband, she was putting her entire reputation, maybe even her physical safety on the line for this one single moment of worship. And as you can imagine, an act this bold did not go unnoticed. The reaction from the onlookers was immediate, and believe me, it was not kind. So you have this incredibly powerful, intimate moment happening right alongside the cold, hard judgment of the crowd. The room was split right down the middle. You had the critics over here seeing a total waste of money. They're thinking, this could have been sold for the poor. What an inappropriate display. But then you have Jesus. He saw something completely different. A beautiful thing, an act of preparation, and a moment of worship so profound it would never be forgotten. And Jesus doesn't just see it differently. He defends her right then and there. He actually rebukes the critics. He elevates her action from what they called a waste to a beautiful thing. And then he makes this incredible promise that her story, this exact moment, would be told forever. You see, Jesus' defense is the key that unlocks the deeper meaning here. This was never just about perfume. This was about prophecy, it was about sacrifice, and it was about the very heart of what it means to truly worship. Her act had so many layers. On the surface, of course, it was a sign of her deep love and devotion. But it was also this incredible symbol of Jesus' coming death. She was anointing his body for burial before it even happened. It was an act of radical humility, and it just perfectly captures what it means to give your absolute best, your most costly gift, without holding anything back. The source material we're drawing from calls this the beautification of a king. And isn't that a great way to put it? It's this beautiful idea that her offering, because it came from a place of pure devotion, transformed a simple object into something sacred. It became a key part of preparing a king for his ultimate sacrifice. So this story isn't just a history lesson. It isn't meant to just stay in the past. The real power of Mary's example is how it kind of holds a mirror up to our own lives and our own hearts. So let's just take a moment here. I want you to think about your own life. What is the one thing you treasure most? The thing you feel like you just couldn't live without? Maybe it's your job, your house, or maybe it's something that doesn't cost a thing, but is absolutely priceless to you. Okay, now imagine this. What if Jesus walked into your living room right now? After the initial shock wore off, what would you do? What would you offer him? Would you, like Mary, bring him that one thing you treasure most and offer it completely? Because that right there is the heart of it. Mary didn't care what anyone else thought. She wasn't doing a cost-benefit analysis. She had one single focus: to worship. True devotion is about lavishly, unreservedly pouring out your absolute best for what or who you love. What the crowd called foolish, Jesus called beautiful. And that's such a powerful lesson for us. It makes you wonder, when other people criticize your deeply held beliefs or your actions, how can you stay strong? How can you remember that there might just be a higher, more important perspective at play? So, what is your costly perfume? What talents, treasures, or parts of yourself can you offer as your own unique, beautiful act of devotion? That's the question Mary's story leaves us with. Thanks so much for exploring it with me.